Good afternoon. The lessons that growing up in the central US taught you to be ready to make your dream practice inevitable. Hello, I'm Marinda Nelson. I help healthcare providers go from bored and burned out to truly doing what they love. You want a practice that you love, whether you have chosen to house it in a corporate healthcare system, whether you have chosen a practice of your own or to be in a mid-sized group practice, whether you are a physical therapist, a chiropractor, and surgeon, and NP and family practice, whatever your role as a healthcare provider, the things that I teach and that we work with are for you. There are some beliefs and some practicalities of being in the less populated centers of the central US that we sometimes believe hold us back from having the practice of our dreams. We're going to talk about a few of those today. One of those there are less people. There are physically less people. It is a more rural area of the country. We do not have the 8 million people population centers that the metropolitan regions, that the coasts have. We are more sparsely housed in the central US. There is a whole lot of cornfields and a whole lot of wheat fields and a whole lot of ranches and space, which is one of the things that I love. And when we talk about having an authentic practice, when we talk about providing for and protecting your values, your dreams and desires, and your full expression, what you want to wear, how you want to do it, being able to niche how you want to, being able to show up the way that you want to, that's a really different conversation in a place that has 3,500 people versus 3.5 million people. That's a really different conversation. Also, many of the standards of care, many of the established paths, many of the training centers, many of the programs and conferences and all of these things happen in these larger population centers. There's simply more people there. And then to take that information and apply it from where it was developed in a hospital system that had 800 beds to your clinic that has, or your hospital system that has 80 or 18 for some of you, that's a really different conversation. And it's a lot of effort to apply that information, to take that information that you've learned and morph it for what you're doing and adjust it for what you're doing. That takes a lot of effort, a lot of trial and error. Now, that's one of the things is that we're resourceful and we're able to adapt and adjust, right? We're going to be talking more about that later this week. But I have chosen to specialize in working with you all here because that dream practice is possible out here. The places that I've been able to make the biggest difference the fastest is in these rural centers, healthcare centers. But also, there's the belief that people don't have as much money. And sometimes that's true. But also, people have worked hard for their money, a lot of them in different ways. And once you're able to show them the value, then you're able to still offer your premium services and niche to those things. So there's also this mentality, scarcity mindset mentality of if Sally Sue doesn't like us, there's this small town politics game. And maybe we stole her boyfriend in high school. Or maybe at that one party you threw up on her favorite shoes. Or maybe you bought the same dress or pair of pants and you looked better in it. Whatever the reason, she has decided she doesn't like you and will take all of her cronies and turn them against you. And so there's dealing with these smaller populations, okay? Where we may need to get more creative to get your word out there. That is one of the benefits, though, of being out in more rural areas is that people are willing to drive. We are willing to go to get the care that we desire, the way that we desire, and find the resources that we're looking for. We have chosen to live in these rural areas. If we're willing to drive a half hour just to the grocery store or 3 hours just to a grocery store, we will also drive those 3 hours or even 5 to see the provider that we want to see. Okay. There are hotel relationships, Airbnb relationships. There are campground relationships for campers and RVs. And there's ways that we can get creative. There's telehealth. There's video messaging, healthcare. There's a lot of different resources and systems and structures that are set up that you can utilize to support you. This is stuff I help my people do. Once you know what you want and you know how you want it to feel, that's the stuff that I really help you do. This just comes into you. It becomes really, really clear. The what becomes really clear when we figure out the why. Okay. Curating the experience, the patient experience, and your experience becomes really obvious when you figure out the how you want it to feel. So figuring out some of those details becomes not as cumbersome as you think it may be. So releasing some of those fears and those worries and the beliefs that we have in the central US, also recognizing this sense of not belonging, this loneliness, feeling that emotion of not fitting in. You haven't in a long time. And while that is hard and allow yourself to feel that, it also becomes a superpower because you haven't fit in. You're too country for the city and you're soon too city for the country. You've experienced things, you've learned things, you've seen a variety of ways of thinking about things, different mindsets. And then sometimes it comes and it feels like we've gone back 50 years when we go back to these rural communities. Did you know that this is available? Did you know that not everybody thinks that? Did you know? And having those conversations that cataract surgery doesn't mean 10 days with sandbags next to your head that you can't move anymore. Did you know? I don't believe in those laser things. There's different mindsets, but that's everywhere. And so figuring out how you communicate the value of the treatment that you find best for the patient and letting them know the variety, recognizing that you are a resource, that what they choose is not responsible for your well-being and your confidence in yourself. Once we have all of these mindset upgrades and all this personal reflection, and we build this confidence in you, and you learn how to be a resource, and so many incredible things can happen. So this week, what we're going to do is you're going to like, subscribe, follow my professional channels. Okay, I post these longer ones once a week on my personal pages, but in the professional channels. So I'll tag those, but that's going to be leaders in healthcare. Follow those. I'm going to be talking this week about things that growing up in the central US have taught you that make you the perfect provider to have the practice of your dream, that make it more possible for you because of the experiences that you've had here. So this isn't beliefs and understandings and challenges just that hold you back. We get to release those ideas and those thoughts and instead bring in, right, how you want it to feel. You want it to feel possible. You want it to feel inevitable. And it truly, truly is. This is what I help you do. So follow along this week. We're going to be talking about those ideas. Tell me where you grew up and if you have gone back to the central US, kind of what's been your journey. I grew up in Wisconsin, moved to the Denver area, moved to Minneapolis, moved to the mountains in Colorado, and I am now here in southern New Mexico. So that's been my journey. So go ahead and follow along, and I will see you later this week.